So would you mind telling me sort of that initial impetus going back to whenever it was, 2017, 18, when you had your first encounter with an Ergon guitar? Just tell us the story and the connection to an object in your home.
Okay.
Yeah.
You want me to say it, or do you want to say it?
You can. Okay.
It was at your show in Tucson. Through the display, I remember this. It was kind of a big U-shape, horseshoe, rectangular horseshoe shape, and I remember walking by, and he was in the bottom of the U in the back corner on the right. His guitar. But anyway, looking at the guitars going through, there was the one with the fur on it, the pony fur. I remember off to the left, seeing that, and okay, that.
And the flag was in that group. The flag guitar.
He might have been I forgot his name. McSwain. Yeah, I think he was in that group because I remember the big plaque.
Mm-hmm.
So anyway, there's a lot of these guitars and a lot of conventional, traditional styled takes with boutique, either they were just pretty much a traditional but highly crafted or embellished and whatnot. And that's where this was the first boutique show that we were gone to. Actually, any guitar show.
Mm-hmm.
To be frank about it, we've been to guitar stores, all the time, but it's the first time seeing a show. And going through and, just looking at this and that. And I'm more of looking at the mentality as a player, looking at kind of traditional modes. And so I saw Adriano's guitar, and it's extremely distinct versus everything else. It's totally non-traditional in appearance. And I looked at it and it was interesting, but I kind of moved on with that. And then Susan basically came back and said, did you look at this one? Did you try it? Did you touch it? And I said, no. And so I went back and then grabbed the neck, and it was like, the lightning bolt. Mm-hmm. It's like, wow, this thing, just feeling it was the first, and it was just, wow. And then I picked it up and it's like, wow, this is light. And then you start feeling the shapes and all. And then you start, I was, looking at it, and then I started, this is even before, no playing. It was looking at it and then looking at the lines, and I say, oh, look at where this shape is going, and see what this, and then you see this over here. There's so many different little avenues and little surprises and just in it. And I strummed it, and it's like, wow.
And everybody.
Well, no, that wasn't it. This was the acoustic part. Just I took it to the room,
right?
Which was, so now that in the main room is where the guitars were, visually, on stands. But then in the side room is where they had amps and stuff like that. You could try it out. So went in there and plugged in to play it with Harvey, the owner of the store, who's had a pretty long career of, instruments. And so you can go ahead.
And then as soon as he started playing it, people started turning around and looking at it, wondering which guitar it was, because it was such great sound. And Harvey, I know, was like, wow,
yeah.
What is that? And we were commenting that it looked very similar to a piece we have in our house called the Blob. And this is our Blob.
This is the Blob.
Because it's pretty, it has curves, but it's pretty organic shaped. And we got this at, it wasn't an art show. It's called the Empty Bowl, and it's a fundraiser for a organization called Waste Not, and they distribute leftover food to people who need it. And so Every year they have an event, and the local Arizona Clay Association makes a whole bunch of bowls, and for the price of a bowl, you get lunch.
In your bowl.
And they also have pieces. In that year, they had also pieces available at an auction, and so we won this in a silent auction. And it's always been the Blob.
We call it the Blob. It wasn't named the Blob.
It's the Blob, but we loved it.
Yeah, and it was just, we immediately thought of this when we were there, because when it's just this sinewy type of shaping to it. And, this is one of the things, okay, we liked it, and, that's what it was, but this is the Blob. And so we showed this to Adriano, in picture for him, and he laughed and all, but that was our immediate connection, and that just delved deeper into making the story, that much more valuable for the experience.
Would you mind just telling me a little bit about the two of you together? I'm used to seeing the two of you together, and I'm used to seeing the interaction of the two that have become one, and it seems to me that you built your home together, and that you have the Blob together, and that your decision to buy your first Ergon guitar and then subsequent guitars, I think, was made somewhat together. Is that fair to say? And not that you need the other person's approval, but by the fact that you benefit from this exchange, this interaction. What is that? Is that true? Did I make all that up?
No, I think that's real. I think, we sometimes have the exact same brain. We will have the exact same response, reaction at the very same time to so many things. And we just look at each other and we laugh. We're like, yeah, of course.
I think for, if you want to say 100%, the two of us, 50-50, whatever you want the balance, or 51-49, whatever, would be the Lisboa, which was the first one that started that, and the bass.
Mm-hmm.
Because, and everything has a story, but a connection as well. Harvey's part of that connection again for the bass, because at that point, that was it was going on discount, and didn't want to see that. And we both liked the way I loved about it. So we purchased that as a jointed, let's do this type thing, where the others, I primarily started the charge toward them as what, to doing it. Was that
just in your interactions with Adriano.
Yeah.
I mean, the bass, we had seen that at the NAMM, and while I know Lou doesn't play bass, I think that one is so beautiful. And so, to me,
I can play bass.
I'm not saying you can't play bass. I'm saying that's not historically what you play.
This is true.
But I just think that's so beautiful, and it's part of that same. To me, it feels like it's part of that same life cycle of where he was in his guitar building. And so, I didn't. That was I was all for that. And the other ones, I think, more generated out of just Lou's continued correspondence with Adriano and the excitement over the new things he was working on. That's more how those came to be.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Being a part of something.
Yeah.
That's part of the conversation.
Yeah. Because Adriano we call each other, brothers from another mother, and all. We have so many connections where we It's been great. And I told you this before, and again expressed gratitude and thank you again, because you are basically the medium that brought all this on and brought it together and started this. So you're I wouldn't have got, and this added a whole new chapter that's actually expanding, to our life and all, and exposure to the friendships and experiences with this, and because of you and Roberta and Zach, with the boutique that ignited this. And so again, just want to thank you, because without that, who knows? It's one of those things where you take a turn in life and you go down a chapter that, or it could be just ongoing, not necessarily a chapter, but it just moved you on forward, but you never would have known about that. And who knows where you're going to be going. Your life is a whole set of detours. And so this is part of that, and we're enjoying it immensely. So thank you.
Yeah, I think the people that we've met, the artists, like, the guys from Ava.
Yeah, they're
are so interesting, and their face lights up when they see Lou, because they're like, come see this, come see this, come see this. Try this, tell us what you think. So it's a whole interesting facet to just our regular life.
I never put that first guitar in your hands. That's okay.
Oh, sure.
This, this.
Correct.
Yeah.
The Blob.
There it is. I can tell by the front pick marks.
Yeah.
That's what I like.
Actually, it's not the pick. Actually, it's my finger. Because I'll usually like this. I'll pick and, because I pick and finger.
Okay.
So that's my finger. Just digging in that, yeah. And this there's gouges over here. If that's me from slapping this, I tell Adriano okay. So this is where we get the Blob, right? That's where our first impression with that. But then when you start looking at it more, you start seeing like the back shoulder. And you start seeing the contours, and you start, the symbol thing, but this is shaped to follow the contours. And then when I looked at it, he's got the neck through into here. But we start looking at just the little shapes and in the volute. Again, this is a guitar, but at the same time, you start looking at it, and I just kept going like this, and looking in the port. And then he's got the little fossil on the back here. And, this being a drum cymbal, that was just, but this is the neck that it just feels wood. It's wood, and with a stain in it, and that's it. And actually, this is more of he's like a wax,
oil and wax.
Yeah, wax finish on it. And he's even given me the wax that he uses for it and all, but I've only did it a couple of times, because I kind of like going in, and I kind of like not cleaning it too much, because I kind of like it being a body, an interaction to work with. So I don't treat this as careful. It's like super comfortable, and this is where, if I wanted to try a new pedal or amp or whatever the case may be, this would be the one I would go to first. I have another guitar, John Page, which is another experience. I don't know if you saw that. You're familiar with John Page. And when he went out on his own series, he had retired, did art installations and such, and then decided to do his own guitars. And then I messaged him and was able to get in the first batch of his first set of guitars. And so I have number 11 out of that. And so, okay, there's a value in that, right? But I have my business logo at the 12th fret. And so that totally takes the value, appreciable value to me, takes that away, because, who's going to want my logo on the 12th fret? And it's the only thing on it, there's no markers. But that's the other guitar that I would go to. But this one here is the go-to. This is your jeans. And this is my favorite part. I tell him, he always laughs, so I tell him, my favorite part of this whole thing is this switch tip. Because it's, he made it and he made these, but the texture of it is, it just makes me, just want to use it. And I switch. So he even made me a little key fob with a switch tip on it because, as a joke, whatever. But this is my favorite part of the entire guitar. So that's it.
That's the kind of thing that happens in relationships too. It's when you're first attracted to someone, it's the obvious stuff that we all talk about. But when you've been in a relationship with someone over a very long period of time, decades and such, it's some little that no one else really thinks about or maybe even knows about.
Right.
And what that would be. And so that to me is indicative of somebody who has a deep relationship with someone.
Yeah, it's so true. Everybody, it's with somebody, there's one character element, or not a character, there's an element that you like to see. And that's what shines your day. And that's, yeah. Thank you.
Mm-hmm. Sure.
Okay, that's great. Thanks so much.
Okay.
And then if you still have time, what I would like to do is, Zach, I think that this is almost already at the right height. So what we need to do is, I would love to just take a photograph of each of the 6 guitars here in your living room, if that's okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That kind of background already.
Okay.
Where we are.
Uh-huh.
Lighting is fine. It's on one side.
You want them on the stand or something? Or you want them just on the couch, lined up? I don't know how you...
Yeah, well, I'll jump in just a moment.
Okay.
Yeah, maybe I'll